And with that, hello, welcome to What Drives Us episode 173? 173? Wow. Really? Wow, 173 for February 10th, 2016. My name is Russell Frost from the Prius Owners Group. I am your host. My co-host and partner in crime, Danny Cooper, is taking the night off to, I think he has a ceramics class. Mm-hmm. I think he's working on his ceramic skills.
Yes.
It is Tuesday night, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday in North Carolina. It's Wednesday somewhere. Everywhere else. Yeah, absolutely. But luckily, flying with me, we lost Evan Fusco. He was here, and then he chickened out because he just isn't man enough to talk about our main topic tonight. Mm-hmm. I just had to get that in during the show, so he can hear that later and want to kill me. But luckily, I have two co-pilots tonight. Thankfully, two of the best. Starting in Canada, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone. And just a little bit of a news topic. We just became the GM Innovation Center has opened up in Kitchener, Ontario.
Wow.
Where they will be helping to develop autonomous cars and apps for their phone to run those cars and call them. So
you make me want to come up there and visit.
Door's always open, my friend.
Oh, careful, because I like Canada. I enjoy Canada.
So did they open in Canada because there are fewer people to hit?
There you go.
All right.
Yeah. Kitchener's a town of 3.5 people.
And they're so polite that when they do get hit, they don't sue.
They just say sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Was I in the way? Oh
no, eh?
Oh,
sorry.
No. Okay.
The Canada Fashion Show. Here we go.
And thanks for tuning into the Great White North. Now, before the SCTV attorneys start sending me emails, let me introduce our man in Chicago, the home of the Second City, Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Hey, everybody. After a nice week of nice weather, it is -12 currently in Chicago.
It's -12?
Well, it's -12 centigrade. It's 11 Fahrenheit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ouch.
But it is expected to get down to -6 this weekend. But I'm going to be indoors this weekend after spending Friday at the Chicago Auto Show, and really excited about that. One of the things I hope to do while I'm at the auto show is I'm going to have my iPad, my Logitech Bluetooth keyboard, so I'll be typing live at the What Drives Us page and typing some interesting stuff. So I'll be essentially just like updating the same article. The article is going to be Tony at CAS 2016, and I'm just going to keep updating it. So by the end of the day, it's going to be a big, long article of everything I saw and did.
Wow. Well, and concurrently, Mark, aren't you in Toronto?
Yes, I'll be going to the Toronto International Auto Show on Thursday, tomorrow morning. I'm heading out. And it's media day, so we're in store to see lots of stuff, and even Tesla is showing up at the Toronto International Auto Show.
It must have. That has something to do with the friendly Canadian atmosphere?
Or less people to hit. Same thing.
No, like less people that will sue you.
Possible.
Yeah. Wow, that new Trudeau government is just, it's changed everything.
Just transforming the country, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Right.
No one misses Harper. I don't. And I'm not even Canadian. Anyway, let's not get too political because we'll have ample opportunity for that later. But first, let's start with our 2-minute news topics, and let's go back to Mark because he has an especially fascinating one this week.
Yes, it's an interesting topic that has come up. Share my screen here. It's based about the Chevy Volt and its Voltec powertrain system. And what's interesting here is that there has been some rumblings that GM is looking for other auto manufacturers to share the cost and the system with. And there has been a few different rumors about different auto manufacturers having interest. Honda was one of them that was of interest about 2 months ago. And this story has popped up again. This time it didn't name any specific manufacturers, but it seems like they're shopping the idea around. So where there's smoke, there may be fire.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, so you said Honda's name has popped up?
Honda's name popped up about a month and a half ago, but that could have also been about the news about them getting together on a fuel cell factory or whatever they're building apparently together. So this is something different. But the name has popped up in the past, so not really sure. But this is the second round for this story, so kind of interesting that it's come up again.
Honda could certainly use the help.
Yeah, it would make sense based on what they're doing currently. So it could be something. But I find it interesting that they're willing to source some of this out to maybe help with the cost. I'm not sure. It's got to be cost related. It couldn't be anything else really, I would think.
Yeah, when you look at most cost recovery models, they try to build the cost recovery into each unit sold, and they look at it that way. And definitely, if you just wait to bit piece the payback per unit, it's going to take it would take forever. But if you can lease it out, you could you could certainly get more money back, and that could then be fed into your second or third generation technology. So it's a smart move for GM, but Honda, I would be a bit surprised, primarily because, well, no, okay, sorry, I was
because they've been so successful with their hybrid offerings. Is that what you're about to say?
No, this is my moment of shame. We're not recording this, are we?
Yeah, no one's watching either.
Good. So
yeah.
then I don't mind saying that I was saying Honda, but in my head I was thinking Nissan. But
ignore the live button in the corner. There's nothing happening here.
Oh no.
Oh, it is live. Yeah. I'm sorry, Tony. Yeah. I lied.
No, that was actually
people just saw you blow it.
Yeah, that was my faux pas. I was actually in my head. I was going with the argument that it was a step back considering the Leaf, and then I was like, oh wait, that's Nissan. So
wait, yeah, considering the clarity.
Oh. Yeah. Oh. And the Insight is doing so well.
The Voltec powertrain would be a huge benefit to somebody like Honda, who really hasn't come up with anything good.
It could easily, I would think, turn into a range extending plug-in Accord.
Yeah. No, that would be great. Actually, I was like, all of a sudden I was thinking, no, that's ridiculous. But no, I mean, I don't think anybody has any problems with, we've had arguments here about Honda's decision-making process, about some of their styling, but basic engineering, Honda has built fantastic vehicles.
Absolutely.
So the idea of finally getting a decent hybrid powertrain in one would be a huge step forward for Honda.
Right. Yeah, and of course one of the and it kind of played out was, Toyota, back when the Insight and the Prius were first introduced, I'm talking in 1997 to 2001, Toyota went with the full hybrid model, and Honda put all their eggs into the integrated motor assist technology that pretty much beat the batteries to crap. The Insights did well, but people learned out how to kind of what they call the MIMA, the manual, motor assist, and then we found out with the was it the Civic hybrid, the batteries were failing.
Yeah, Honda had problems with their battery management system.
Yeah, so really good cars and well-designed cars and cars that looked nice, but it was the hybrid technology that was the shortcoming. So certainly picking up an established proven technology would be a huge boom for Honda.
Who wouldn't love a CRZ with a Volt powertrain? Or is it this? What was
CRZ,
the CRX?
The sports. Yeah, the CRZ was the sports one with the shark fin and the sporty hybrid they were calling it.
But that had no guts. That was like a two-legged dog, basically. You know, dragging itself around and just
not even two front or two back. It was like one front, one back.
One in each. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. One front, one back. It was like, oh no, that's so sad. Get him a skateboard or something. You know, but that was, I mean, you know, it was a very cool car. It was gutless and it was no fun. As a Volt powertrain, as an electric car, that'd be a blast to drive.
Oh my God, the Volt is a blast to drive.
Yeah.
Thin it down, lighten it up. Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm feeling like Chevy needs to send me a check. Just kidding. Nobody sends me checks.
We're not going to object.
Speaking of something I'm not going to get a check for, Tony, 2-minute news topic. You have something very technical and interesting.
You know what? I really kind of like this, and this is just one of the pictures from the article. But this was from a site called Eureka Alert. They call themselves a global source for science news, and what it is it's just at the University of California, they've come up with a new algorithm for pedestrian detection that is faster and more accurate. And the article gets really detailed into the what they call the cascade detection, in which the car sees something, analyzes it a little, passes it on to the next algorithm that analyzes it a little more, passes it on to the next algorithm that analyzes it, and basically just kind of whittles it down and says, there's something there. Is it a car? No. Is it a tree? No. Is it, this? And, so they came up with a algorithm that makes it, like I said, faster, and they're saying twice as fast as current systems, and like I said, it's more accurate, which means that these autonomous cars would be able to detect pedestrians and stop and be safer. Now, the reason I find this interesting is that I'm really anxious to see autonomous cars. I think it's cool. I think it's cool, really. That's really it. So anything that gets it one step closer, in my opinion, is just a really cool, fun thing. So I just thought this was interesting.
Now this looks like it's the picture was taken in like California with those palm trees and such.
That's Los Angeles.
Okay.
Looks like I almost looked like Wilshire Boulevard for a minute, but I wasn't. I've seen one of those buildings before. But yeah,
so being from Canada, I'm not completely familiar with it, but do all pedestrians in LA walk around with those boxes on them?
Yes. Yeah. You have to, or you get a ticket.
Well, you've seen the movie Dune, right?
Yes.
Yes. This is everyone in California has those square shields. The body shield.
I really didn't expect you to go all David Lynch on me. That was beautiful.
Obscure reference.
That was beautiful, Schaefer.
And everyone knew exactly what he was talking about.
We have the smartest audience in the internet.
There's no doubt about that. No doubt. Because they're here. Yeah. Aren't you glad you were here for a Dune joke?
Yeah.
2016.
And I went with the shields, not the spice, because the spice was obvious.
There you go. The spice was obvious.
Right. So the car could kind of ooze through the shield, but not hit him really fast. Is that the deal?
That's the point, yes.
You just couldn't see the thumpers. They were just off screen. But
in fact, that one, if you saw it over on the upper right, it had the worm.
Just popping through there, yeah.
Yeah.
You had to look quick.
Yeah. You didn't just refer to a pedestrian in California as a sandworm, did you?
No, it was the bus.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, it was a big bus.
Well, those were both very interesting.
Good luck segueing from that.
And we will definitely follow up on both of those things as they develop. Certainly the Volt powertrain thing will be interesting to see if anybody picks up on that. There's certainly lots of companies that could benefit from that, and obviously GM would benefit from that too. In our other news this week, this little site that is vital to all of your self-interest. It is vital to your life and your happiness. It's PriusOwnersGroup.com. You should visit and click on all the ads today.
If you are sad, if you are depressed, if your friends don't like you, Prius Owners Group is for you.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Thank you. That's the kind of testimonial I expected. And I tried to mute your mic, but I wasn't quick enough.
Huzzah!
So, needless to say, I posted under the heading where I show you what $20 million looks like. The 3 Toyota Prius commercials that ran sort of around the Super Bowl, 2 of them during the Super Bowl, and 1 of them prior to the Super Bowl. I guess for me, should I start? I'm trying to think if I should start with my observation or just, you know what? Let's go with general. Tony's shaking his head. Just shut up.
I'm like, Russell Frost is lost for words. What happened?
Well, I know. How often does that happen? How often does that happen?
Right.
I should do my quiet radio voice right now. So, if you're sitting around the Super Bowl and this silly Prius ad comes on with people, here's what I don't get. Okay, so on one hand, Toyota's reaching out to the mainstream. It's not about hybrid, it's not about flowers, it's not about butterflies and trees. It's about how cool the Prius is to drive. So they make a commercial that talks about how crazy it is that this Prius isn't a Prius.
Yeah. I loved it. I honestly did. I watched it several times. All I can say is that car tested very well in the Schaefer household.
So, but I just want to look at the commercial because not everybody's had a chance to drive it. And, you know, I mean, honestly, do you think this is effective as a commercial?
I think, well, okay, before I saw the Prius commercial, I saw an Audi commercial where Buzz Aldrin is sitting in his...
It's not Buzz.
Whatever, it's one of the astronauts.
No, it's some generic dude.
Oh, I thought it was a real astronaut.
No.
Okay, well, somebody pretending to be an astronaut.
He was pretty effective.
He was, yeah, he had me convinced. Sitting there, like dead to the world, like, you know, his life had passed him by, and then his son walks him outside and shows him his, was it an Infiniti?
His Audi R8, $180,000 R8.
Shows him his $180,000 car and breathes life back into this man by letting him drive his new car. So you're telling me that is an effective car that sells $180,000 cars, but the Prius commercial saying, hey, this car is fun to drive, and it got people laughing, that's not effective product placement or, you know, product pitch or whatever.
I would be very interested to know what Mark thinks.
I saw, actually, today, I saw the bank robbery one again, and it worked for me. It was good. It was kind of funny. It was going against the stereotypical what a Prius is. They went against it. They went the opposite way, and maybe that's good to shake it up. You know, I'm not any advertised guru, but I watched the commercial. I saw it. I recognized it. I knew what it was, and I knew the pun that was being played. I don't think you can ask for much more than that in a 30-second commercial.
No. I mean, I don't think that by any means my opinion is definitive. I think I said in one of the posts at the Prius Owners Group that I don't know that maybe I'm just not the target market anymore. You know, there's no consensus. Looking around at the various media that were talking about the commercial, it literally seemed that like half of them thought the commercial was a loser and it was too silly, and the other half thought it was funny and it was cute and it was you know, it was like showing the Prius in a different light. Yeah, so it really, opinion in general seemed to be very divided, and obviously Toyota doesn't even care what the Washington Post versus The Verge versus somebody else cares. They care about, are people going to go to Toyota dealers and go, good God, I got to get me one of those?
I think they'll go to the Toyota dealer. They'll go to the dealership, maybe looking at other cars, or maybe just going to Toyota to look at a car. And now they have a completely different opinion. The Prius looks similar but different enough that maybe they'll be intrigued. And I think it puts the Prius in their mind where maybe it wasn't before. That's what I think.
This is not
like a test drive. Well, do you think that they're going to look at something else? They saw that they say it's sporty, it's fast, it's fun to drive. Will it get them another test drive out of that? Possibly.
Possibly. I think possibly. And I can tell you from driving it for 2 weeks, if the person with them just punches power mode and just lets them go, they will be impressed. It literally is fun to drive. And then you top it off by saying, oh yeah, by the way, this car can get you 60 miles at the gallon and haul all your kids' soccer gear. I think it puts it on the map. It'll put it in people's minds, and I think that's what Toyota wanted to do.
You know what I paid for gas this morning?
Let's see, down there, $1.25.
No, $1.58.
Oh, it's higher than it is here.
Is it really?
Yeah, I see $1.30 stuff around here.
Wow.
On the national news tonight, the NBC National News, they showed one spot in Central America that was charging 99 cents.
Wow.
I did hear that there was a place that
99 cents. That's crazy.
They were doing a price competition stuff. It's cheaper just north of the border in Wisconsin for me.
Right, and I don't want to reduce it to that because I'm not the person that gas prices, blah blah blah. That doesn't pencil out anymore. I hate that whole argument. I think you buy a hybrid for reasons other than I'm going to save X dollars a week on my fuel cost.
And I think if Toyota knows that, then they're going to focus less on that. They're going to get away from the hum and get away from the it's a beautiful life and get away from the ugly butt-faced man and get away from that stuff and say, you know what? All these other manufacturers sell their cars by showing them spinning their tires and doing ridiculous stuff, closed track, don't try this at home. Maybe it's time the Prius takes that approach.
So here's, if I grant every positive point that you and Mark and everybody in the media has made about this commercial, here's the problem I still have with it. And we talked a little bit about this last week with the Audi A3 e-tron commercial versus the first Prius commercial, which at the time Toyota was sort of like putting this commercial out, and the media was like, oh, this is the Super Bowl commercial, and that commercial was really ridiculous.
Yes.
You know which one I'm talking about, right? Okay.
Yeah,
the guy singing the song that's just...
one that is called Heck on Wheels.
Yes, it's just dreadful.
Yes.
Here's looking at the good commercial, the bank robbery commercial, or the Hunter commercial, where they, where the highway patrol gets a Prius to catch a Prius, blah, blah, blah.
To catch a Prius, you have to use a Prius.
You have to use a Prius, yeah.
You gotta think like your Prius.
They're still undermining their own case by kind of like, wow, look how amazing this is. This is a Prius that isn't a Prius. And with the silliness edge that is in every Toyota commercial.
But Russell, don't you think that they already have a captive market? They know that the groups that are already familiar with the Prius, the Tonys of the world, yourself, you're already know what a Prius does and how it works. So they're just trying to open it up to another group of people that do not think of the Prius in the way that you think of it today.
No, you're absolutely right. But, I mean, is this the way to do it, is my point. Like, why do they have to be silly? Why can't it be cool? Why can't it all be like the Fisker commercial? You remember? And Mark, I'm sorry, this was before your time, but, I mean, Tony, you certainly remember the Fisker commercial. Why can't it be like that?
Yeah, well...
why can't it be like, wow, this car is sexy and cool and it drives great, and then, boom, it's a Prius.
Maybe it will be, but the Super Bowl commercials aren't one-offs. Commercials compete at the Super Bowl the same way the teams compete at the Super Bowl. And
so you're saying that they couldn't compete with the Audi commercials, so they just didn't even try.
Oh, God, no. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying that this commercial got everyone's attention. It was engaging. It told a story. It wasn't the Prius is sexy. I don't think anyone would have bought that if they came out and said, look, the Prius is sexy. I think people would have been like, what the hell? No, it's not. It's a Prius. So they had to come out and say, first of all, forget everything you knew about the Prius, and then they have fun with it. And then you can come out later and say, oh, and it's this cool, sexy thing.
Right. If they show there's a switch, if they show it caught on, if the funny thing caught on, then you're right. They could get serious next time. They could do something different. But the question is will it catch on? Does it make more people come to the dealership and get that test drive?
And that is where, that's really the only, in a sense, the only opinion that matters when it comes to commercials is it getting people to dealerships and going, Prius?
Yeah.
My opinion is much less important if they're selling cars. If they're not selling cars, then suddenly maybe I have a point. I don't know. We'll see.
But I honestly think that, at least for now, with gas as cheap as it is, which means fewer people, to Russell's point, are concerned about saving money on gas or save the world or whatever. I do think that at least for now we're not going to see those Prius as the high mileage, one with nature commercials.
Right.
I just don't think we're going to see that. I think they're hitting an entirely different demographic with this car.
Knowing that their core guys are not going to leave.
Well, some of them will. Some of them.
I don't know about that.
Really?
There are a lot of Prius owners who have bought Volts, bought Leafs. The Prius is.
But that's not a problem of advertising. That's a problem of selective manufacturing.
It's the fact that the Prius becomes a gateway car to plug-ins.
Right. And so it hasn't had a viable competitor.
Exactly. Yeah, they're missing those people. But yeah, a good number of Prius owners will, I think, buy the next gen Prius, and I just think that they are trying to appeal to those people who look at a car as it better be fun to drive, or I'm not even going to look at it. That's it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Mark, any final thoughts?
Well, it's like you said, if there are people leaving the brand, they've got to find a way to refill the bucket. So going to another demographic is a way to do that, and we're not going to know if it's going to be successful or not until sales numbers start to roll out. So that'll be the final tale there.
I agree. My final word on it is it'll be interesting to see. I think Toyota's, in a sense, in trying to broaden the market, I think it's kind of risky. It's kind of a risky strategy because they sort of undermine what they've spent a decade and a half doing. And in not having a viable step-up option like a plug-in or an EV, the people that they've set up for that progression have to go to another brand.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I can agree with you on that. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. It will be interesting, and my opinion, meaningless if they sell oodles of Prius. So, speaking of meaningless opinions, you know what? That was that's like a non sequitur. It wasn't a segue. That was a non sequitur. Bentley, the famous British luxury brand, announced this week, well, no, they didn't. They sort of teased that one of the vehicles that they have a concept called the Speed 6, which is a beautiful, you wouldn't expect the Bentley to be ugly, right?
Right. Oh, it's a beautiful car.
It's a beautiful car. They say, well, maybe we'll make an electric version.
Yeah.
We're not sure.
You know, yeah, we hear this so many times from so many manufacturers. I'm surprised it's still news.
Yeah, it's not really. I mean, other than...
Mm-hmm. But I will say in this picture, man, only...
Let's put that up.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, it's pretty.
Only certain manufacturers and certain cars can have like that tone of green and just be spot on.
And every one of them are made in the UK. Okay?
Yeah, green is their color. You're right.
Yeah.
That British racing green, that dark hunter green, whether it's a Jag or a Bentley, yeah. I still want that, little yellow pinstripe, natural leather interior. Oh, baby. Sorry, that's obviously my fantasy.
I would love, of course I would love to see, Bentley and other manufacturers come out with electric vehicles, and, and they say they're going to, compete with Tesla. I don't think Elon's that worried about competition, seeing as he's giving away his patents. But I would love to see people have more options. I think we all would.
I think the other reason I wanted to bring this up is, and I'm just curious what you guys think. At what point is the luxury electric market saturated?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's really subjective. I don't even really know how to answer that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, certainly rich people can afford to have half a dozen of these $200,000 plus cars. Mm-hmm. And if you're a Bentley fan, then you've got to have the electric Bentley. If you're a Bugatti fan, you've got to have the electric Bugatti. I guess. I don't know.
Well, I do know that over the recent period of time, the last couple of years, I know that Tesla has destroyed some of the luxury market for the other automakers. I know. Yeah. And that you can see that in the charts where the percentages of these other luxury models have gone down consistently, and Tesla has gained all of that market share. So obviously there's some limit. Otherwise, there'd be more sales.
Yeah. I was going to say, how do you know when the luxury internal combustion engine car market is saturated, and yet they continue to make and sell those? So I don't know, is it more people becoming rich and it's just a cycle of, through the generations, people continue buying cars?
Or do rich people tend to buy a car every year?
Oh, I'm sure, or whenever they want, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm bored, let's go buy a car.
Yeah,
okay, why not?
Like seeing a movie for us.
Yeah. Like buying some popcorn, maybe. Because I can't afford a movie ticket. I don't know about you guys. I've been saving up for Star Wars for the last 2 months.
Are you almost there?
Well, the problem is Spectre came out on DVD, and now the money's gone.
Lose the entertainment budget right there.
Yeah. I have my priorities, and Bond is always at the top. That's just me. So, Bentley, I mean, who doesn't love a beautiful luxury car? Bentley's a beautiful car, but then there's car companies that do, shall we say, ugly things. And I just found this article from the 29th of January. So obviously it's been there, but I had to talk about this because this makes me want to go and I say this metaphorically as an allegory. It's just talk. Please don't do this at home. I'm not encouraging people to do this, but it makes me want to burn down a Volkswagen dealership. Okay?
Did you say that out loud?
I did, and I've checked this with the attorneys. I'm not telling you to do this, okay?
Right.
In no way, shape, or form are we saying you should do this. It makes me feel like doing this.
Yes, but although I will say...
What will you say?
I will say, do not burn down the dealerships because they were burned already by this just as much as everyone else.
Yeah.
If anything...
Unless you're in Germany, don't burn down the dealership.
Yes,
if you're in Germany,
do
burn
not.
down the dealerships.
Our listeners should not buy tickets on airlines and fly to Germany and burn down the Volkswagen headquarters. Absolutely.
Do not go.
That.
Do not go to Germany.
Do not do that. And in this article, do not find a guy that looks like this big ass picture in this article and beat him up. Don't do that.
So basically, the gist of this article is that Volkswagen's striking back. This is Volkswagen's pushback. They've stalled. They've sandbagged. They said they have a solution. Nobody will accept it because it's not a solution. After cheating for years and years and years, and lying, and then covering it up, and then claiming they didn't cover it up, and then covering it up some more, now Volkswagen is saying, well, you know what? The whole thing is this defeat device isn't explicitly illegal in Europe, and we're not going to acknowledge that we did anything wrong because it's not illegal in Europe, even though we lied, and that's out there. But I'm sorry, I'm back to burning down dealerships.
Yeah, even though, let's see, where was it that the German regulators said that Volkswagen did use an illegal defeat device.
Right.
So Germany is saying it was an illegal device, and Volkswagen is saying, oh, no, it's not. These regulators don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's perfectly legal. And therefore, screw you all.
Yeah, it's just saving them money. That's all they're trying to do.
They're not saving face, that's for damn sure.
No, not at all. They're not fooling anybody either.
Yeah. No, well, they fooled a whole bunch of Volkswagen buyers, didn't they? And that's who my heart goes out to. Is and I'll just excuse me for being provincial, but is the American Volkswagen buyers that have bought their cars, whether they're affected by this or not. They're tainted Volkswagens, and these people have been screwed. It's so not fair. And if you see me smiling, it's not because I'm enjoying it. It's because I'm thinking about a Volkswagen logo on fire.
Somewhere out there is the one or two owners who bought, after doing a whole lot of research, they decided that they were going to buy a Volkswagen diesel something the day before this hit.
Oh, can you imagine?
That would be sickening.
You couldn't get back to the dealership fast enough.
Right.
It was like, oh, Well,
they're saying in Europe, this article is about Europe not just saying that they will not admit wrongdoing, but they're still going to be held accountable in North America.
Correct. Yeah. So I don't know what So what, he's going to just have dinner with Angela Merkel and say, oh, hey, don't worry about it. We're good, right?
Well, I mean, and listen, certainly, make no mistake that Chancellor Merkel is probably standing behind, very quietly, but standing behind Volkswagen because the last thing she wants to see is Volkswagen stumble and fail.
Yeah, don't need more unemployment in Germany.
Yeah, exactly. In an already difficult German economy, the last thing they need is this scandal.
Yeah, their national auto dealer folding up. They cannot have that.
Yeah. So that's no small amount of pressure, I'm sure, even in other countries, from Germany, who is a very influential. Look at what Germany. Well, we can, without getting too political. I mean, the whole Greece thing was really just a matter of Germany demanding to get its way, and to basically trample on the sovereignty of Greece. So. That's another story. We're not going there.
Story.
We're not going there.
Right.
Anyway, Volkswagens. So, I'm sorry, Volkswagen owners. I'm really, really sorry. You guys don't deserve this.
Special friends of the show.
Yeah. And I hear there's an exciting new Prius, which you might want to consider.
Yeah, you could look into that.
Yeah.
Not at the VW dealership, elsewhere.
Especially if you rob banks. I hear it's very effective.
Hey, maybe that's going to be the next Prius commercial. It'll say fun to drive, high mileage, 100% legal.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good angle. I like that. Well, so the sad news this week, and it's I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, I'm not really that sad about it in some ways.
Yeah, I'm not really either.
But I should be in a way, but not. The grossly overpriced. The car with maybe one of the worst commercials on the planet. The Cadillac ELR. GM announced it's gone.
Yeah.
See ya. No more ELR. And for those of you not familiar with the ELR, this is basically a Chevy Volt chassis and powertrain with a luxurious Cadillac ELR interior and
a couple of software tweaks.
Yeah, and a few software tweaks, but it's basically a Chevy Volt, and not to run it down, because everything that I heard about it, other than the price, the people that drove it loved the car.
Yeah, not surprised.
So
it is a fabulous looking automobile, and it drives like a Volt, and it's got the same drivetrain, and like you said, anything other than the price is the only problem.
Yeah, and this full Cadillac cockpit that just seems like it comes out of the future. The one thing that really shocked me is they made it a two-door. That's the thing that surprised me the most.
Yeah. Well, and then they made that terrible commercial.
Yeah, I can just hear that guy saying, we're America. We went to the moon. We made a hybrid. We overpriced it. And you know what we did when we got there? We killed it.
Yeah. That lasted about 2 years, right? Yeah.
Well, again, to this point, unfortunately, Chevy has not been able to make a good commercial about their electrified vehicles. Their first generation Volt, there's been many stumbles, there's been many misses. Unfortunately, the Cadillac fell into that as well.
Yeah. Somebody made a really strong presentation, like Don Draper came in and said, boom, mic drop, baby. Who takes a vacation in August? We're Americans, and it was like, what does that have to do with anything? The good news is I saw a used ELR in my hood for $35K.
Yikes.
That's half price, baby. That's half
really
price.
Good.
Yeah. Had the battery been removed or something?
It didn't have wheels. Is that a bad sign? No, it looked good. And I think, is the only color this car comes in black?
No, there's red.
Is there?
Yeah.
Literally, I think every used one that I saw on AutoTrader was black. So I wasn't sure.
Silver's out there.
It's a nice car, and I want to say that Chelsea drove one.
To Vegas.
And said she did drive it to Vegas, didn't she?
Yeah.
Okay. And she said she really loved it. So.
Well, essentially, you're driving a Volt. Like it's.
Yeah.
Again, it was just stupidly priced. It was just way overpriced for what it was. People do the math, and I don't think Cadillac was expecting them to do the math.
And that was one of the interesting things. Where did I read in this article? And God, now I'm trying to find it. It was $75,000, and where did it say that the decision to price it at $75,000 was just this one guy at Cadillac? Oh, right. Don Ackerson personally set its initial price at $75,000. So this one guy said, here's how much it's going to cost, and that's what they went with.
What is Don doing today?
Yeah. No market analyzing.
Spending his $10 million golden separation bonus?
Yeah.
Parachute fund? Yeah.
Yeah, if they would have done a little more research to find out what the market could tolerate, price it at 50, maybe, they would have they probably would have sold the crap out of these things, and they would still be selling them.
Well, and again, competition-wise, for $75,000, you're in Model S territory. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, you've got the Model S with 4 doors, that's full electric, that is screaming fast.
A bigger car.
Yeah,
yeah, it is bigger.
So arguably, it couldn't compete at that price.
Yeah, it's amazing that Cadillac thought that they thought they had a captive market because unlike the Model S that's pure electric, this is not. So this gives you the no range anxiety. But man, you get a car with 200 miles in the battery, and range anxiety is a long way out the door in most cases.
Right. But, you know what else doesn't have range anxiety?
Network.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the.
What else doesn't have range anxiety, Tony?
Every other Cadillac on the market. Even the ones that cost less than $75,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was an amazing decision. I would have been interested to hear the arguments for it when it was being pitched, but it obviously did not work out.
No, I think they watched that one commercial and said, "That's it. That's what we're doing. That's where we're because we don't take vacations in August. Damn it, we're going to go to the moon." And you know what we got when we were up there? Bored. So here it is, $75,000, and we're going to sell the shit out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And they bought their own crap.
They bought their own commercial.
For it.
Fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker.
I'm telling you, Don Draper walked in there and just smoked him.
Quite possibly.
I still would, you know what? For the right price, I'd take one.
I don't know, for 33, that sounds like the right price.
Hell, I would, yeah.
That sounds like the right price. Why are you still sitting here?
Because I don't have $35,000. Isn't the answer to that obvious?
Well, okay.
He did mention that Bond came out on DVD, right?
He got the DVD too, man.
I got the DVD. I don't have the down payment on the ELR. Are you sensing a problem with my finances? Yeah, maybe.
Could be something there.
Well, kids, I think that's it for the news this week.
All right.
Darn it. Nice job. Nice job. Let's do some shout-outs and go home. Mark?
Well, I'd like to give a shout-out to the Waterloo Regional Voltec Group. Thanks very much. Going to be, as mentioned, off to the auto show tomorrow in downtown TO. So we'll be sending some tweets out and maybe try a Periscope or two, see what we can get going on.
Yeah.
Look forward to that. And see if we can pick up any signal in the concrete box they call the Metro Convention Center. It'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Nice. That's beautiful.
So,
well, good luck, and we look forward to whatever you do. We'll link to it on whatdrives.us or post it there. Obviously, follow Mark. Are you going to be posting at WR Voltec on Twitter? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the place to look?
That's the place to look.
Okay, we can set you up on whatdrives.us too, so we should probably have talked about this before.
We should probably do that, shouldn't we? Yes.
But yes, we should do that.
That's an excellent idea.
I have these ideas 20 minutes after they're important. It's the story of my life.
Hindsight, man, that's awesome.
I like how when I get close to my mic, all of a sudden I'm Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I noticed that. That's great.
Because of
quite an effect.
No, it's just this. You can't see. There we go. It's the LED. Yeah. There's a bright red LED that I should probably put tape over because.
Or you just.
All of a sudden I'm Burl Eyes.
I was going to say you drunk way too much. Yeah.
Save that for the Christmas show. Yeah.
Just for the record, I haven't been drinking. Tony.
Well, as usual, I want to remind everyone about the What Drives Us Facebook page at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. So it looks like we picked up the Drive Electric RVA as fans of the site. So everyone who's part of Drive Electric RVA, I want to say, hey, I hope you're listening to the show. Give us a special shout out. I want to remind everyone that I am writing a series of articles about hypermiling. It's a big topic with a lot of facets, and so it's not coming out in just one big dump article. So I started with the cardinal rules, which was pretty much like Patrick said, 3 key rules primarily: don't be an ass, and finally, don't be a dick. So then what I did this last Saturday was a decent overview and a definition of hypermiling. And so now, starting this weekend, my next article is going to address something that I mentioned earlier on the show, but it's going to be the music that you listen to directly affects how you drive your car. So it's going to be, if you're interested in hypermiling, and I'm just going to assume that people are reading the articles because they're at least interested, then you're really going to have to pay attention to the music that you listen to. So watch for that. Hopefully I'll put it out on Saturday.
Give us a hint, Tony. What is the best music to listen to for hypermiling?
Oh my God.
Just a hint.
Ministry.
Yes. It turns out it's a combination between Rage Against the Machine and Linkin Park. And no, really, what it's interesting because I did some research on some of this stuff, and there are a lot of really good studies about music impacting shoppers. And you might think, what's shopping have to do with driving? But it's just in how it gets in your head, in ways that you never would have expected. How classical music impacts people, how fast-paced music, slow-paced music. But it is true that the faster the music is, or the harder the music is, the more you want to, take that aggressive positioning with your car.
So let me just stop you. So what I'm hearing, Tony, is that my Tool playlist may not be the best commute to work music. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's the worst, but it possibly may not be the best. Yeah,
okay.
That would be a fair statement.
It would explain the random road rage that occurs seemingly every day in my world.
Yes, right. Any song that includes the phrase "kill them all," usually probably not.
I think
good.
most of their songs have that phrase.
Yeah.
It's a recurring theme there.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the I do challenge people. A relatively bold challenge is to go a week. If you can do a week with the radio off, try that. And you know what? I sometimes I will just not have the radio on at all. And it took me a very long time to even be able to make one drive to work, which for me is about 50 minutes, because we're so accustomed to having that background noise. When you turn it off, it gets in your head. You miss it. But then after you get used to it, that's when you start listening to the car, and you start picking up on where it's straining going up a hill, and you pick up on those things because you want to listen to something, and so you end up listening to the car.
Okay, no more. They have to read the article.
Got to read the article.
They have to read the article.
Yes.
At whatdrives.us.
Whatdrives.us, exactly.
Okay. Tony, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mark, thank you. It's just the three of us. It's kind of a quiet little show.
Yeah.
I should have been in my radio. You should
have been whispering the whole show, Russell. Yeah.
Thanks very much. Mark Coughlin, Tony Schaefer, thank you so much for not making me do this show by myself in this voice the entire time. We would have lost the dozens of listeners that we've worked so hard to gain.
Mm-hmm.
I think the title of the show is going to be self-deprecation. I'm feeling like it's appropriate. I don't know why.
Wondering if anyone listens to the podcast while driving. Maybe we should do one episode in soft talk the entire time.
Slow down. Slow down. It's okay. You're not in a hurry.
Right.
Don't tailgate that car.
Yeah.
It's okay. Relax.
So Lutz had some stuff to say about Tesla.
You can't even mention Bob Lutz and keep me relaxed, okay? Stop.
I knew that was coming.
You did that on purpose, Schaefer. Well, so as usual, I want to thank Michael Mannering for our theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. As usual, as always, you can download, stream, you view, do whatever you want with our show, because that's the kind of cheap people we are. Just do whatever you like with us at whatdrives.us. That's whatdrives.us. You can see everything there. Show links, video, you got it, audio, whatever. Come on. And of course, you can have the show automatically delivered to your favorite podcatcher through iTunes, through Stitcher, and probably a few other products whose names I can never remember. Nonetheless, search for What Drives Us. Leave us a review. Tell everyone how great it is. Tell a friend. Visit us at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. And finally, a plug for my partner in crime, Mr. Danny Cooper. If you have a Prius and you need Prius accessories, there's one place to go. That's one place, count them one. PriusChat.com/shop. The Prius Chat shop has all the best accessories for you, all personally tested by Danny Cooper. And I think he personally guarantees, you know what, I already got the Volkswagen dealership thing going this week. The legal department's just going to get up and
two lawsuits at once. No.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. They're already thinking about Christmas bonuses and new boats. So all I'm going to say in the end is thank you very much for tuning in. Download us next week and find out what drives us. See ya, kids. Thanks. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Mark. You guys rock. We'll see you next week.